Alrighty, guys, it is 3:30. Time to wrap it up for today. And sorry I missed that 1:30 update. I'm gonna head down in some development stuff here, so totally kind of forgot about it. But you can see, look at this slop. Man, this has been like a net grind to the downside, but sloppy and really volatile. So yeah, more volume than we've seen in a long time. Let me see here. The volume on the ES is 2.1 million, 2.2 million, 1.8 million. It's like it's over 2 million. That's a pretty good day. So it's like a million more than an average trading day. So pretty crazy, pretty crazy. So looking at this, and unfortunately, I had to report that we extended to the downside. So I thought we had a shot at holding the line here at this point. But today we extended. We are down here testing that very low at the 57.30s. And this is it. This is the support area. If that comes out, and we are looking at some really gnarly stuff happening. So and who knows how far they want to drive this. So we're looking at wiping out pretty much like a 6 months worth of gains in the stock market. Nice little rally we had at the end of the year, plus the beginning of this year is all wiped out. We're pretty much back to where we started. So there you go. That's how it goes. And because who knows how when you who knows how violent this stuff gets. I mean, it's if you were looking to buy some opportunities on the way down, you never know. You had to kind of start at one point, and the guys who started early, they're fading some heat, and the guys who are late, they're probably hesitating, wondering when they're going to step in and try to buy something. But man, this was a gnarly one. So afternoon wise. Big move to the downside. Looks to me like we haven't maybe shot out now at a little bit of retracement, but they're down here. Took out the 25 level, the lowest one I had in there, with a few ticks down to the 20s. That's how far they got. So at that point, I kind of stopped trading this after I took one more trade on the Nasdaq. I'll show you that in a second, but it's just been too volatile. So I mean, I figured like what, instead of just taking the shot and doing I mean really had to have good trade location. And as you can see, it's V tops, V bottoms, and they have big bars. These are this one is 31 up to 42. This is 11 points, this little bar right there, right? So these are like 10 plus point bars. Very difficult trading going on right now. So at this point, it looks to me like we're getting a little bit of a late lift late in the session, last half hour. I mean, this is what's happening here, like at the right that before the 3 o'clock hour. Pretty crazy stuff. Volatility, they looked to me like they were heading lower and they were just going to nail this. And then finally, we got a little bit of buying kicking in. Then they just knocked the shit out of it and right back up again. And this stuff here, I was thinking maybe hopping on a long trade, and I looked at it, like, no, this is just volatile, and it's just it's just a recipe for getting yourself losing some money, if you're right on it, you'll be happy and you think you did great. But unless you're willing to trade with a big enough stop, you're really just lucky, And I rather not. I tried it a couple of times this week, and I figured, like, you know what, no, not much luck going on there. So more than often you'll get just shaken out of it. But so we extended to the downside, and right now we are. We'll see if support's going to hold there. We are down here actually testing that very, very low, and we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. But we are definitely in a pretty bad rut right now. Now, tomorrow morning at 8:30, we get the employment situation, big report. Then we have one, two, three, four, five, four speakers plus Powell speaking at 12:30. So the speakers lined up 10:15, 12:20. Powell speaks at 12:30. So you have to look out for that after. But the employment situation is going to be the big number coming in tomorrow. And these cross currents are all about tariffs and uncertainty and the freakouts and markets overreacting and so on and so forth. Nothing fundamental, I think, has really changed. I mean, the tariffs are still hasn't really had any effect anywhere. Just it's just a lot of fear. And as they figure out, I just heard they got the auto industry another month of reprieve. So they're kind of adjusting as they see, and as people make their cases and so on and so forth. So I think this has a massive overreaction, and it creates just massive opportunities if you want to pick up stocks at good prices. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. But it is gnarly. It's not easy to sit there and watch the market tumble for like 10% down, and Nasdaq is probably even more than that. It's more than 10% now. So they are in correction territory. So starting off from the short side, unless for some magical reason they can scare themselves up here above the the 57 70s here, and then get back up in this upper range again. We're starting from the short side. So look at the sell strength, 55s, 65s, 75s, so rotation down. You can trade above 75s to go back range bound in this lower range. And the range I'm talking about here is this range right there, this range. So they're looking at that area. If they climb up above 58.80, that would be 100 points higher. Then we have a shot at maybe seeing something happening. But right now, I mean, we are pointed lower. Capital flow is pointed lower. Exchange member chart is pointed lower. And this is the time you should be looking for a snapback. So at one point, this is going to turn and may turn pretty quick as the selling stops and people start piling on the upside instead. It could be a headline away, could be a tariff announcement, could be something, and then suddenly everything is changed. So just be mindful. But this is a lot of volatility right now. No trades on the ES. I did take a couple of trades on the Nasdaq. I'll show you those. And as you can see, I'm up 10 bucks, 10 whole bucks in a day like this. But I had one trade. The first trade I took was earlier on. It was one right up here. I took a short trade and I got just shaken out of that trade. It was a great trade location. He got knocked out of that trade. They ran lower. Then they ran right back up again. Well, shaking me out if I hadn't taken profit. I was already out of it, out of that trade though. But and then down and then right back up again. So a couple of attempts to shake people out, and then finally they ran it across the whole range and then some. So when they were down here taking out the lows, I tried a long trade, and I was in that trade, and I just got knocked out of the trade, and then they ran it all the way back up here again. So that would have been a beautiful trade. Had I not taken aggressive profit, I would have again been knocked out on the way down again. So it could have gone either way. It's two trades, two shakeouts, up 10 bucks on that, and that's all I had to show for it. But after that, I figured like this is just too volatile. So it's just yes, you keep getting shaken out, and the time you're wrong, you just lose money. So that's the dynamic you want to avoid. But man, look at Nasdaq. That's not a pretty picture. So Nasdaq all the way down here. Again, down here to that support area, 20,000. So we'll see if they're going to take that out or not. But that's what they're testing. And if it holds, we may be in pretty good shape to maybe see some buying kicking in. But as you can see, this could qualify as a retest of this low at the 20,050s and a little bit lower. We'll see if that happens. But at this point, unless they can trade up above that the 2270s, I'm going to stay on the short side on this and look to sell strength. Watch those single print G prints. That could be a nice short opportunity against those. But no reason to trade it from the long side yet. It could be long trades in there, like you see those snapbacks you see there. I mean, look at that violent rally. You try to get short on the way up here. Look at how they ran you out of the market. And this is people who have been trading this on the way down. They get short on the way up here, a little pullback, get short, make a little money, get short, maybe make a little bit of money. Try to get short again, and then just whoom, they just run you out, and then some. So anyway, right now we're holding at the 20,100s. Support held at 20,000 for now. But yes, as I said, trade it from the short side of the market, and then see how far it can take it. Bond market, if I can try to fold this together, I can't even fold this freaking thing together like so. Looking at the bonds, bond market is not moving a whole lot, so I'm not too worried about it. Feels like that flight to safety is a little bit overdone. So, I mean, they backed off on the bonds. They haven't really retraced back up in a crazy way. So I'm thinking there's a lot of algo trading going on. A lot of people just going to cash, waiting for the opportunity to jump back in again. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'm not seeing anything fun, and the fundamentals are going to be better. Right now, they're a little bit shaky. We have coming out of this the last 4 years of an economic rut, and they're doing stuff to kickstart everything. And finally, some economic literacy again. And well, let's see. It may take a couple of months before this whole thing starts kicking in. But anyway, that's what we're living in right now. Pretty volatile, and unless they can get up above this, the 1.7. Okay, this is the bonds. But if they can get up above the 1714s, that high, may go back on the long side. But at this point, we're trading in that low volume area, and that's going to stay range bound at this point. So we're trading in a range on the bonds. So range bound bonds. Nasdaq in the ES have pointed lower still. So let's see if they're going to give us some late in the day heartburn. But it's crazy stuff here. It's just difficult to trade. So And I did take a couple of shots at it, and that's so I'm at the remember, so I'm at an edge, and the two trades I took were right at the edge, or not quite right at the edge, but enough to have my stop outside the edge, and I'm waiting for some kind of reaction, a reverse reaction. And both of them were worked, but got me shaken out, and before I got any shot at taking any significant profit. So that's kind of where we are at on it. And I'm smart enough today to say, okay, I'm not going to try to be pushy about it because it's just a recipe. You try to put on the trades a bit more aggressively, and or you re-engage it, and you find yourself just getting crushed. So I keep harping on it, but that's the issue right now. Volatility could be your friend, and it's also chop up your account pretty good. So as you know. Gold just range bound, not going anywhere. So there's no flight there, no panic flight going on anywhere to gold or bonds. So that's why I'm not so worried about the equity markets. If the bond markets or the gold start spiking like crazy, I would be more concerned about something else happening around it. But this feels very much like internal freak out mode, you know. So range bound gold at this point going into the overnight, and oil pretty much the same. To the downside though, I mean, I think they haven't been able to get up above this 67s again. So I would stay on the short side on oil, look to sell strength up to that 67.15s for rotations back down, and see if they can make a go out of it. But that's where we are on oil and gold. So back to the ES, and again, so two trades on the Nasdaq today, two shakeouts, and I kind of stopped trading. I figured that's just giving me it's not just not giving me a sufficient amount of love to want to sit in that thing. So anyway, we'll leave it there. So we'll see if we get some further weakness, but I would stay on the short side until the ES trades up above that 57.80, 75 to 80s. If they can get up above that, maybe I'll take off the short bias at least for the day session or the overnight. But at this point, doesn't look like, yeah, well, we'll see how the last 10 minutes goes. If you see some snapback buying at the very end, that would be a very positive sign. But we'll see. If they close towards the lows here and we don't get much, then yeah, we're not quite there yet. Alrighty, guys. Hope you didn't get yourself in trouble too badly today, but it is Friday tomorrow, so I'll see you guys back in the morning, and then let's see if we can go at it again. Maybe get a calmer day. Who knows? Alrighty, guys. So two trades. I'll see you back in the morning. You guys have a good evening. Right, later.